Hey boy, hey everybody, this is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to my live stream. We are live streaming right now simultaneously in three different places. Heavy on Jets on Facebook, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on my Twitter account at BoyGreen25. A couple of quick prompts, and we'll get right into the post-game show. No matter where you're watching, on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you like, retweet, and share this out. No matter if they win, like they did last Sunday against the Bengals, and we had a phenomenal post-game show, or it's a show like tonight where it was a depressing loss, and for a lot of reasons I'm angry. We'll get into that as well. Wherever you're watching as well, you can also drop in the comments wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and this will be your therapy session. This will be therapeutic, I'm sure, for all of us to talk about this horrific loss for the New York Jets. The reason why I waited a few minutes till the game was officially over was I gave the update for the 2022 NFL Draft. Silver lining, baby. Here's the draft order update for the Jets if the season ended today. They would have the number 5 pick, the number 9 pick overall, that thanks to the Seahawks. And in the second round, they would have number 39 and number 51. 51 via the Carolina Panthers and the Sam Darnold deal. By the way, I have that up on Twitter if you'd like to see that update via Tankathon. All right, everybody, let's get into it. While it somewhat looks a lot better at the end, when you look at the final score, what is that, 45-30? It was not anywhere near as close as the final score would indicate. And the biggest takeaway, quite frankly, when you look at the stats and you look at the notes and quotes after this game, is the defense. And this is what's confusing for me about Robert Saleh. We have these moments where we believe in this guy, right? You have Tennessee, there's a wow factor there. You have Cincinnati, where there's this wow factor, where there's great offense from Mike LaFleur. There's gritty defense of this team kind of rallying and getting together. And then they follow that up with horrific performances. After Tennessee was the Atlanta game, international waters against the Atlanta Falcons in London. And then this time, after that emotional win, you get this Garbaggio against the Colts, the only primetime game on the slate for the New York Jets, and that's the Garbaggio we get. The effort was disgusting. Let's dive into the defensive numbers here. This was near the end of the first half. It got worse because there's also another touchdown that was thrown in on this, but they gave up 28 points, 260 yards rushing. This is just in that first half, where you have all this nonsense that is absolutely given up in this game, from run effort to turnover. I mean, it was just a disgusting mess. Again, the quarterbacks who had to step in, Mike White gets hurt. Obviously, that changes the script a little bit, but that has nothing to do with the defense, which was just god-awful. There were a pair of saloon doors. People were just coming on through. Might as well had a guide out there saying, hey, go right there. There's the end zone. The run defense was horrendous. Just the effort was terrible. Absolutely god-awful. Let's get a couple of shout-outs here, and then we'll dive into all the comments that are coming in as well. This was disgusting by every sense of the imagination. Really just gross. First off, everybody, if you're new to the show, check out the scrolling ticker down below. My name is Boy Green. You can also see it behind me as well. You can follow me on all social media at BoyGreen25. My YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. New York Jets content all day, every day, right there. And also, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure you see that throughout today's show. And like I said, wherever you're watching, make sure you drop in your questions and comments. And every post-game show is brought to you by Jabber's Wing Sauces. Local, support local, guys. Again, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. Any local you can show. They have been here through wins and losses. Jabber's Wing Sauces. Give them a like on Facebook and Instagram. But put that aside. Let's get into this game and let's get into some of the comments. But I will just say this again. I don't understand what we're getting from Saleh here, because he's the one I'm going to blame here, is that you get this lack of effort. What is happening defensively? What worked against the Bengals but sucks against the Colts and the defensive line? Where are you? You were supposed to be the strength of this team. I get no Carl Lawson. I get no Vinny Curry, but you have Quinnen Williams, who wants to get paid a lot of money. You got John Franklin-Myers, who just got paid a lot of money. You got Sheldon Rankins. You got Foley Fatukasi. You've got names. Troy Aikman said it was the number one thing he was looking for in this game, and they got absolutely paved. I mean, the stats are disgusting. Let's just read the final stats to you guys as I'm looking at this. Here is what the Jets gave up in this game. 28 first downs, gave up over 500 yards of offense, specifically in the rushing game. They gave up 260 yards rushing. I mean, disgusting. 8.7 yards per attempt, created just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Guys, this is disgusting effort. Just disgusting. All right, let's dive into some of the comments here after this game. And boy, this was gross. Let's go to Caden first. This offense was moving, but the defense couldn't stop anything worth crap. But Elijah Moore coming out party was great. No question about it. That's the silver lining of this game. Elijah Moore, a couple of touchdowns was nice. Made some plays. Exciting stuff from Elijah Moore. And I think it was Matthew Berry on Twitter said he's the, quote, real deal. Love to see it. There is a silver lining there. That looked good. The offense eventually was able to move the ball pretty well. That didn't happen early enough in the game. Too many mistakes, and all of a sudden you're down a lot. They did do it again the second half, and but again the score was just kind of out of hand. But yes, that's true. Mike LaFleur, by the way, in back-to-back weeks has over 950 yards of offense. So very nice. They were this close to getting back-to-back 500. Now were the Colts playing kind of lackadaisical defense there? Maybe, I don't know. But good to see from Mike LaFleur, kind of overall from that standpoint, a lot of creativity there. Let's go to John here. Defense sucks. Bad game. Need to fix fast defense. Coaches need to get out their head out of their ass. They suck bad. It certainly looked that way. Just terrible. Again, what's happened here is the Jets' defensive line was really good. Again, the 7 sacks against Tennessee was a highlight of the season. And the problem is that other defenses watched that tape and they found a way to marginalize the Jets defense. And that is with quick passes and screens. And they just beat you over the head with it. The problem is this Jets coaching staff hasn't found a way to counterpunch that punch. That's the problem. And thus defenses, or well, offenses rather, are studying that tape and saying, we're going to keep doing this until the Jets can find a way to stop it. So far, they haven't. So yes, the Ulbrich, Saleh, they need to get their head out of their ass and figure this out, because this is absolutely unacceptable. No question about it. Let's go to John Rodgers here. Great learning experience for this young team. John, I appreciate the silver lining, and I've claimed for years I'm the most optimistic Jets fan on the planet. But I got to tell you, man, that hopefully this is a learning experience. Hopefully it is for those guys. But it's hard to feel great after a primetime game where this is your opportunity. The Jets only had one primetime game this year, and that was the one that, unfortunately, we just all witnessed. And we're hoping we're going to get a little Mike White magic. Of course, he gets hurt because Jet fans simply can't have nice things. And that would have been an exciting storyline, and I was elated for this. The Jets have now lost 7 primetime games in a row and 18 of their last 24. It's just disgusting. No wonder the Jets don't get any primetime games because, quite frankly, they haven't delivered. It has just bene absolutely terrible. Rich Cimini dropped the nugget. The Jets actually play, I think it's worse in daytime football than they do primetime football, and primetime has been god-awful. So it's just not great. Let's go to Mike. Saleh has a nice tan. Was he at the beach when he came up with that defensive game plan? I will say he was very stoic throughout the game, and not in a good way. I mean, not that he's going to have these emotional bursts like he had as a defensive coordinator, but he was just like quiet angry, which is almost worse. It's almost like this disappointing look from a father kind of thing. It's not like the break the clipboard and spike it and get all angry. That's not normally his MO, his modus operandi. But I will say that Saleh just kind of had that same expression on his face throughout the entire game, and I could only imagine what he said at halftime. But obviously that didn't work. Colts went right down the field. Luckily, they got the goal line stand from C.J. Mosley, Foley, Fatukasi. But overall, yikes, it was just terrible. Let's go to Tommy. Not one holding call on the Colts offensive line has seen lots. I will say also with this, Tommy, there's a couple ineligible men down the field on the Colts, but I guess the rest are just like, hey, you know what? At this point, the Jets are getting their Patuki kick. That's not a good way to call a football game, but that's the only rational explanation. Not just some of the holdings, but a lot of the ineligible man downfield seemed to be pretty evident throughout that contest. A couple more here. Couldn't even stop the run. Richard, that was the number one thing. They absolutely could not stop the run. They gave up 260 yards, which is 8 yards per clip. But at one point during the game, it was 10 yards a clip. It was just gash after gash. I mean, they broke it down on the broadcast. I mean, Moses parting the Red Sea. I mean, it was even more wide open than that, quite frankly. Disgusting. Gustavo, Defense sucks. I mean, blunt but accurate. The defense was absolutely terrible. I read some of the numbers earlier, but here's some more for you from this game. Again, the defense gave up 28 first downs in this game. 61 plays ran against them, 532 yards, 8.7 yards per play, 260 yards rushing allowed in this one. And just disgusting. By the way, the Colts only had 2 penalties in this game for 22 yards, while the Jets had 7 penalties for what that is worth. Back to John Rodgers here. Play calling is getting better. The last 2 weeks, calling plays in the box is working much better. No question. Like I said, the yardage output for the Jets over the last 2 weeks is 975 yards and change. So much better. Thank God. Keep Mike LaFleur up there. That's terrific. And again, here's a little just positive nugget, perhaps. Zach Wilson was seen before the game wearing the brace. Again, he's going to be wearing that brace for the foreseeable future with that PCL strain. He was, kind of throwing it around the ball yard before the game. The Jets believe Zach Wilson will, at the very least, quote unquote, will practice throughout Buffalo week. There's a strong belief inside that building that Zach Wilson will be ready for that game. We will see. Again, I think what they were kind of quietly hoping for is a great performance from Mike White tonight, and then you can play it slow with Zach Wilson and make sure he's 1,000% ready, as opposed to, again, now Mike White's hurt, never returns to the game after throwing that touchdown pass to Elijah Moore wide open, which is obviously disappointing for a lot of reasons. We kind of had the Mike White show canceled on us on primetime because, again, Jet fans simply just can't have nice things. And Joe Flacco, by the way, was a healthy scratch for this game. Why did you make the trade? Josh Johnson looked fine, but again, why did you ever trade for Joe Flacco then? I understand why he was inactive for the game against the Bengals because, again, personal reasons. He was out most of the week, didn't report to the team until Friday, but the fact of the matter, he was inactive tonight is just looks gross on the Jets for that trade. It just absolutely god-awful. Let's keep rolling here again, wherever you're watching. First off, make sure you show your support. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button on Facebook, and hit the follow button on Twitter. Please show your support every week, every game day. We have a post-game show here and other cool videos throughout the week, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Let's go to Gustavo here. My question now is, why in the world we gave a pick to the Philadelphia Eagles when we have 2 awesome backup quarterbacks? Gustavo, you took the words out of my mouth. Again, the Joe Flacco thing continues to look weird, especially since he wasn't healthy tonight. Makes absolutely no sense because if you traded for Joe, you obviously don't believe in Josh Johnson, yet you brought Josh Johnson up. Very confused. The Jets coaching staff does not seem to know what they're doing. Thomas, where is the run defense? Well, Thomas, if you find out, you let me know because it was awful. I mean, again, it was just terrible. It was gash after. It didn't matter who was running the football. My grandma could have been running the football. It didn't matter. Naheem Hines was finding holes. Jonathan Taylor obviously ran buck wild on this Jets defense. It was disgusting. Absolutely terrible. Man, I just was really underwhelmed by the effort. Ulbrich is crap emoji. I think I know what that means, Yaman. And yeah, that was terrible. John Rodgers, your thoughts on drafting 2 linemen in first round of the draft? I'm not opposed, to be honest with you. And I really want to see, you saw the trade right before the deadline, Laurent Duvernay Tardif. I hope that he steps in for Greg Van Roten sooner rather than later. He came here to compete. I think the Jets will give him every opportunity to do so. But looking about the long-term prognosis, hopefully Mekhi Becton healthy at left tackle. Elijah Vera Tucker's been spectacular at left guard. Center Connor McGovern, again, I would replace that position. I'd replace right guard. And then Morgan Moses, who has been hit and miss depending on what analytics you're looking at. You could bring him back at right tackle. So for, at the very least, a short term. But I would not be opposed to investing in the trenches. That would be a good move by the Jets. By the way, 4 picks in the top 2 rounds. And we just went through them, by the way, on Tankathon. And I'll read that back to you. For anyone who is just joining us now, here are the updated picks. Again, this is from Tankathon after the Jets lost tonight. If the draft started today, again, they would have the number 5 overall pick. That's their own. The number 9 overall pick, thanks to Seattle. And in the second round, they would have number 39 and number 51. That 51 is thanks to the Carolina Panthers via the Sam Darnold trade. So 4 picks in the top 2 rounds. I'm a big draft guy. Apparently, we're going to be talking draft a little sooner than I would have liked. All right, let's get some more here. From William, I've been wanting more Mims, but he's not helping his case. Couple of drops. There was this one moment on the broadcast where Josh Johnson missed him wide open, and Mims is visibly frustrated, kind of throwing up his hands as he's kind of storming off to the sideline. It's just been tough because when Mims has been open, he's not getting the ball. And then occasionally, when there is an opportunity, he dropped a touchdown in the Bengals game. That would have been the first touchdown of his career. He dropped another bad one at the end of the game. It was like a second down play, hit him right in the chest. I don't know if he's in his own head. I don't know what's going on, but man, we all collectively wanted more Mims. And unfortunately, the more we see, the more disappointing it is, especially after Joe Douglas had that passionate answer. It's on my Twitter account if you guys want to recap it on Denzel Mims earning more playing time and things of that nature. Really underwhelming today. We made Wentz look like Brady, no question. And again, part of that is the new ideologies from these offenses that are facing the Jets defense, short passing games, screen plays. And even when he decided to go deep, I mean, the Jets were off their assignments. Marcus May blew an assignment. Ashton Davis blew an assignment. Time after time. And other part that's not helping is the pass rush that's not getting there. And then secondary can't cover forever. It's just the chicken or the egg. Just terrible, terrible. Let's go to Matthias. They should hire Bart Scott to help with the defense. They need to hire somebody. I don't know what's happening here. At the beginning part of the season, Jeff Ulbrich was like, maybe he could be a future head coach. And then all of a sudden that went out the door. And Saleh's supposed to be a defensive wizard. These are just unacceptable performances. Again, the Jets end up making it closer than it looks, 45-30, but it wasn't anywhere near as close. At one point, it was 42-10, and the Jets made this epic rally. So credit to them for not rolling over and dying, I guess. But this was nearly as bad as the New England game. The Colts took their foot off the pedal a little bit. I mean, this was just disgusting. This is not the kind of effort you want to see. Robert Saleh said, you want to be competing in the fourth quarter. Maybe he'll sell this hot garbage as competing in the fourth quarter, but it's hard to wrap your mind around that when you see what happened. I mean, absolutely disgusting. Thomas, just angry emojis. I feel you. Maybe we could get a fourth-round pick for Flacco. Well, the trade deadline is passed, so that's not going to happen, although maybe that would have been a wise move to flip him again to like New Orleans, who had quarterback issues. But trade deadline is passed earlier this week, so not happening there. And why not more Mims? Just more drops, Thomas, today. But I would just give up on the guy. You got to keep trying to throw the rock, but Mims got to get the head out of his patookie. So many body drops. That was tough to watch. Go back to Caden Smith here. I'd consider drafting Linderbaum and Kenyon Green. I've heard people say that. Again, I am not opposed to doing that. Back to Matthias. That was a horrific defensive display. Again, disgusting. Absolutely awful. Just terrible. I just, it's really hard to rationalize. I know it was a short week, but the Colts were facing a short week too. That's no excuse. No excuse. Kevin, GM fire him. Not quite. The way you're going to get Joe Douglas fired, if that's going to happen, is if the middle of next year the team is like 1-5 or something. Then Joe Douglas firing chance will come. But he's only been on the job for 28 months, give or take. And his job status depends on the development and progression of Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson sucks, Joe Douglas will be gone. If he's a superstar, Joe Douglas is here for the foreseeable future. All right, let's keep going here with a couple of things. I feel so bad for White. Good comment. Again, Mike looked good. He looked good at the beginning of the game. It seemed like it was going to be, especially with the defense being a bunch of barn doors, it seemed like, maybe a shootout here between Mike White and Carson Wentz. Unfortunately, White gets injured. He appears to hurt. At first, it looks like his hand, but Jake Glazer ended up saying at halftime it was his forearm. So to me, and also Mike White talked on the sideline that he couldn't have feeling. And just to make this disappear for a second, he didn't have feeling in his hand, so he's having trouble gripping the football. So it seems like to me that it was a funny bone issue, and you had some nerve issues as to the numbness and not being able to grip the football. So it seemed like he got hit on the funny bone area. Jay Glazer, again, called it a forearm injury for the Jets. He was questionable. They never ruled him out for the game unless I missed that during the contest. So he was questionable throughout, never was able to get comfortable to grip a football. We'll hear from Robert Saleh probably right now as I'm talking to you. So keep an eye out for that. But definitely feel bad for him. And Joe, I feel for Josh Johnson, would have been nice to take an onside kick. Yeah, again, they made it competitive. Again, the tipped up interception ends it. It would have been at least, it would have been Falcons game-ish, right? You score a touchdown, it's 38-45, get an onside kick. Hey, who knows what happens? Again, a credit to the Jets for not rolling over and dying. But again, that if they would have shown any chutzpah in the first half, maybe it's actually a game instead of trying to make it there as well. back to Thomas here. All we want is a competitive football game. And again, that's what Saleh keeps preaching. Oh, wow, we're going to have games in the fourth quarter. And the other thing I want is you saw it at the end of this game, and I've said it on my podcast and other different shows. If you're new, again, Boy Green here. You can hit me up on all social media, running ticker at Boy Green 25. Also, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And here's the thing I've said is that I just want to be, you saw it at the end of this game, that little graphic in the hunt at the end of games. So like, ooh, they could be in the wild card mix. I don't feel like I'm asking a lot when I say I just want to be in the hunt. I just want to be 4-4. Like, ooh, maybe they could get a playoff spot. I mean, I'd love a playoff spot. Just put us in the hunt. The Jets are not in the hunt for anything outside of a top 5 pick, maybe. A top 5 pick is what they're in the hunt for. Terrible. Just terrible. Drops too many balls. I like him, but he drops it too much. Denzel Mims, I'm assuming as well. Thomas, hopefully White is okay again. I don't believe we're going to get an update one way or another. Again, I'll try to keep an eye out for social media. I'm on with you guys, so not really sure for that, but we'll keep an eye on it. Expected the Jets to win this game. I expected the Jets at the very least to be competitive. The Vegas spread was 10.5 going into this one. Short week, emotions, Mike White show. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen that way. It just didn't happen that way, which is really disappointing. All right, let's go back to Caden here. If the offensive line it could get a consistent push, we could have a great offense. Joe D needs to consider drafting Lindenbaum and Kenyon Green. Again, I've heard that comment a few times. Would make a lot of sense. We will see if that's the direction they go. Other areas to look just off the top of the dome. We'll eventually be doing mock draft Mondays on my YouTube show. So again, subscribe and keep an eye out for that. But cornerback, edge rusher, tight end, offensive line, of course. So many positions they could potentially attack just off the top of my head. How long will we have to put up with rookie coaches? Well, just the rest of this year, and then technically they won't be rookies anymore. So there you go. There's some optimism, Richard. There's some optimism. All right, Richie B, this team only plays tough at home, apparently. Saleh to motivate these guys because the defense was atrocious. Yes, Saleh on the road has not been good. I mean, outside of the Falcons game, which kind of competitive onside kick at the end, but again, they just were not competitive in the first half. And then Carolina, obviously, outside of these wild comebacks in the second half, they've been god-awful, absolutely, on the road. Let's go to Sublime Music Channel. What we seem to have is a huge upgrade on the offensive side of the draft class for entry. Next year, it's a defense. This game doesn't bother me, especially New England either. Well, I'm glad that it doesn't for you, Sublime, but I'll say this, is that the thing for me is I think you may be right. With the 4 picks of the Joe Douglas era in the first 2 rounds, you think about a Mekhi Becton offense, Denzel Mims offense this past year, Zach Wilson offense, Elijah Vera Tucker offense, Elijah Moore offense. So 5 picks in the top 2 rounds during Joe Douglas's tenure have all been offense. So you could be right. It could be a narrative change of going defense in this draft to help Saleh out, help a brother out. So you could see that. That's a very astute point there. So keep an eye out for that. Can't count on Becton. Seems pretty fragile. Again, it's a very small sample size. We need him back. The bad news is that he's not expected back for a few more weeks to even practice, not alone playing games. Like, here's the difference. Like, Zach Wilson is expected to practice next week. That's a great sign for him to play. Mekhi Becton is weeks away from even practicing. So, boy, oh boy, I don't know when we're going to see Becton. It is not great. Not great. Richard, we need to get pressure on the quarterback. Amen, brother. We have not seen it in weeks. I don't care if you have to do exotic blitzes. You need to do something because what's happening right now is simply not working. Not working at all. And, Mr. Maj here, Mims catches with his body instead of his hands 100%. That's resulted in several drops, including this one and the touchdown last week. So no question about that. Thomas here, maybe the reason he drops passes, Denzel Mims, is because he's not used to catching passes his way. There is no question that in terms of being involved in an offense, and then when you finally get a chance, you're kind of overthinking it. You're like, I got to catch this, and then you kind of overdo it. That is certainly possible here, but maybe at some point he'll come back to the mix there. Let's go through these. Bring Rex Ryan back to this defense. Love Rex Ryan. I got his book actually over there, the Play Like You Mean It Jets book. Got that. Love Rex. Probably not, but I love it. I'm burning my Darnold jersey tomorrow. There you go. I'm actually wearing the Vernon Golston jersey today. I am not a jersey burner. And by the way, it was just passed on the Jets all-time sack list. There you go. Vernon Golston. Love that jersey. Wish it would have worked out better, obviously. But, hey, I don't burn jerseys. By the way, on the all-time Jets sack list, Jabari Zuniga just passed Vernon Golston, who had 0, and Jabari Zuniga 1. So there you go, jumping up on the all-time sack list there. Thomas, I would say easier said than done on this comment. How come we didn't game plan around stopping Taylor? I mean, stopping any running back, because again, it didn't matter if it was Nyheim Hines or anybody. They seem to have a lot of success running the football. Easier said than done, but again, I would have preferred that Saleh and Ulbrich cooked up something good defensively to make something happen. All right, let's keep rolling here with a few more comments here. Question from Gustavo. Question: Will we give another opportunity to Mike White after he recovers from his injury? Hopefully, we do and not put him on the shelf. It really depends on the injury in terms of length, because Zach Wilson is getting healthier. So Mike White, again, the opportunity in the NFL is this, and you have to take advantage of it. Obviously, he didn't game numero uno, but gets injured and may never get a chance again. Again, we'll keep an eye out for that. All right. Okay, let me address this. I've seen this viral on Twitter, folks. I just need to make this clear. Again, as a former player for me, I'm going to be honest, anytime the team was losing, I wasn't giggling, I wasn't laughing, I wasn't going crazy, but this is a horrible take. It's a horrible take. It's not a bad look for Zach Wilson snickering on the sideline with Corey Davis. He's not playing in the game. Of course, he's engaged in the game. There's cameras on him 24/7. Who knows? 59 of the minutes, he could have had an angry look on his face. And the one time he's snickering, it goes crazy because you have the score graphic, you have them. Bleacher Report, by the way, screenshotted that and sent that out, and it's gone viral on Twitter. To me, that's bullshit. It's a lot of nonsense. I feel like it's just a really bad thing to try to make Zach Wilson look bad. To me, it's weak. It's weak sauce. Anything like this. So I'm not trying to call you out, Maj. I just see you brought it up here. I don't think it's a bad look at all, to be honest with you. I would rather him not be laughing and snickering. But again, it's like one moment. I have no context of what's happening or what they're talking about. Corey Davis was out of this game. Zach Wilson was out of this game. They're on the sideline. They happen to be on the sideline instead of up in the booth where they're more hidden, where we couldn't see if they're laughing, talking, whatever. To me, this is not a bad look. This is totally overblown right now on social media. Ridiculous. You want to make fun of Zach for missed throws or this or that, fine. This is an unfair criticism in my mind. All right, let's go through a couple more comments here. Let's go back to Mike Donovan here. A lot of good things on offense, including the coordinator. Mims had a bad game. The O-line still has issues. I would still like to see the backup quarterbacks get a few more games in. Mike, we'll keep an eye out for that. Again, Zach Wilson is set to return to practice next week. Again, Richard, embarrassing, no question about it. That is my take as well. And a couple more here to wrap us up. Malcolm Harper, clearly this game was all about the defense not making any stops and White getting hurt. No question. I mean, that's the game. The defense not showing up. The Jets gave up 4 straight possessions to the Colts. All of them were touchdowns, and the drives were ridiculous, like 70 yards, 80 yards, 50 yards, and whatever that last one was in the 2-minute drill. So, again, terrible. Didn't give the Jets a chance to compete in this game. And, again, they still found a way late in the game to make a crazy rally. Again, I think that's more so on the Colts kind of pulling back and things of that nature. But if the defense would have done anything, it would have been good. Junkyard Dog, yes, the Colts defense stunk. I was getting Colts texts from Colts people that I know out there in Indy, and they were saying, yikes, this Colts defense looking trashy. But, again, it didn't matter as well. And then no roughing the passer penalty on Zach Wilson. I can only imagine that's part of the joke. So, again, Jets lose this one 45-30. It's embarrassing because it's a primetime game. It was the only show on in town. If people wanted to watch NFL football tonight, this was the only game they got to watch. And unfortunately, it was another dud for the New York Jets. Disappointing and just angering, quite frankly, the lack of effort we saw on the defensive side of the ball. It was also disappointing for Mike White, who is a magical story, incredible story, who had been cut and moved around like 4 times by the Jets over the last couple of years and 11 times throughout his NFL career. This was his chance, and an unfortunate injury, kind of robs him of that chance, which is obviously super disappointing. All right, everybody, no matter where you're watching, hope you enjoyed this post-game stream. Again, my name is Boyd Green. We do this every single week throughout the rest of the season, and we've done it all the other weeks as well. I'm on YouTube.com, streaming live right now. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Makes a huge difference, and hit that subscribe button as well. Again, show your support. I love doing this for the fans. Love providing some therapy and a platform for all you guys to speak on. Also, heavy on Jets, the community on Facebook. We're streaming live there. So like the page, Jets articles out every single day. And, of course, on my Twitter account, verified. Check. Hit that follow button, baby. We're getting close to 3,000 followers. Help me get there, baby. Hit that follow button as well for all kinds of New York Jets takes. All right, everybody, that's going to help us sign off here for Thursday Night Football. Underwhelming performance, but next week, and I'll give you guys a shout out, I will be there at MetLife Stadium for Jets Bills. It's the first Jets game I'm going to in a couple of years. Got the tickets locked in. We'll see if it's Zach Wilson or Mike White. I hope I can meet a bunch of you fans there at the stadium. You guys can hit me up on social if you'd like to meet me at the game, and we could try to, I'll try to, go around with some of the tailgates as well. Again, at BoyGreen25, you can hit me up on social. I'll be there for Jets Bills next week. Looking forward to seeing a bunch of you guys out there. All right, everybody, let's go enjoy the rest of your weekend. No Jets playing this weekend because we got it tonight. We'll see how the Jets fare next week in a home game against the Buffalo Bills, who lead the AFC East. Hey, you never know. You saw the Tennessee Titans game. You saw the Bengals game. Maybe there's more magic coming. We'll see how Robert Saleh feels all about this in a little bit. All right, thanks, everybody. Peace out. Hit us up